What do you do when things don't go as planned? My friend, life is a game of losses. But all you have to do is change the L to lesson so that you can learn and bounce back and be better. Today on the Legacy Lab, we're going to talk about exactly what you need to do to bounce back. My name is Jordan Green-Ellis, your personal mentor. Welcome to the Legacy Lab. What's up, y'all? This is Jordan Green-Ellis. Again, if you're new, welcome to the show. If you're not, you already know what to do. Grab that pen, grab that piece of paper. Let's get into it right now. All right, I have to admit, I am so tired, y'all. I've come off a month-long tour through the month of April. I've been in a few different cities. I've done a whole number of speeches. My voice is literally tired. It's actually just really kind of getting back to its normal feeling today. But we press on nonetheless. I was thinking about you guys because we talk a lot about success and winning and strategy and all this type of stuff. But I don't know if I've given a specific episode on what you should do when things don't go as planned. Maybe I have, but I want to be more explicit today, okay? I want to kind of give you a general formula that you can use to bounce back, all right? So let's get ready to get into it. I literally want you to write down this acronym, okay? The acronym is BOUNCE. Are you ready? The B stands for breathe. You got to understand that even though you messed up, even though things didn't go as planned, even though things fell short just a little bit, you're not a mess up. You're not a failed plan. You're not a failure. You're experiencing it. But this is not the sum total of who you are. This isn't your identity. I need you to breathe because breathing is going to allow you to capture this identity, capture this moment, capture the understanding of what's actually happening. You, my friend, are not a failure. That's not who you are. So I need you to breathe first because actually what it's going to help you to do is think rationally. A lot of times, especially when we experience moments of failure, irrational thoughts can creep into our mind and they can easily become what we identify to be if we don't think rationally. So I want you to breathe, okay? Let's practice real quick. There's a concept called deep breathing or combat breathing, okay? It's really a long breath in through your nose and then an even longer exhale out through your mouth, okay? If you're younger, smell the rose, blow out the candle. Let's do it again. Ready? I want you to breathe. What this is going to do is help to shift the blood flow in your brain so that you are not emotionally charged and that the blood flow can get back in the right direction so that you can think rationally. I need you to use this in every single moment of failure, or so you think. I need you to make this a part of your regular routine. Why? Because when it becomes your second nature, this is what you'll default to and not crashing out. This is what you'll run to and not some other unhealthy decision, not some other unhealthy person or relationship, not some other unhealthy substance. Do you know that men, we lead the numbers in unaliving ourselves in substance abuse? It's because we don't turn to the right response when things go wrong. I want you to remember to breathe. Everything is going to be okay. The next thing that I want you to do is a part of being a man. It's something that is a non-negotiable. You're a legacy labber, and so you got to get this right. The next part is I want you to own it. I want you to take accountability for whatever role you played in the matter. I told you guys a few weeks ago that I was at a speaking engagement and the videographer canceled on me an hour before the speech. Of course, this was demoralizing. Of course, I was extremely frustrated. But you know what? I was prepared. And so I was able to make a quick pivot. And thankfully, I was able to capture what I was supposed to capture video-wise, content-wise. But after taking a moment to breathe and regroup, I thought about how I could have approached the situation differently so that that situation would have never happened. Earlier in the week when I sent the contract over to him, the young man didn't send it back. He waited 2 days and he didn't send it back to me. He actually sent me another contract right there. I should have known I should look for someone else. I needed to take accountability so that the next time something like this happens, I won't be caught off guard. I want you to own every single part that you had to play in the matter. Ask yourself this question: what could I have done differently? What should I have done differently? In this case, I was talking about the videographer. Some would argue, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Technically, I didn't. but there was something that I could have done a little bit better. Maybe you didn't do something wrong, but what could you do a little bit better? Moving forward, one of the processes that I put in place when I'm outsourcing a videographer is that if they don't respond within a certain time frame, then I'm just going to move forward. I'm going to take their lack of response as a sign of their professionalism, which is obviously something that I don't want to work with. And so this is something that I had to learn. I had to take ownership. If you brush it off, if you sweep it under the rug, you won't learn the lesson. You know what's going to happen? You're going to experience exactly what you're experiencing, maybe with a different person, maybe at a different instance, but you're going to experience it again. So I want you to own it. What could you do better so that this situation doesn't happen again? The next is understand. I want you to understand that these things happen. It's a part of your life's journey, and that is okay. As I just mentioned to you before, what can you do differently? What can you re-implement so that you won't experience this anymore? Understand that there's a lesson to be learned in every moment in life, the wins and what we would consider the losses. The next one is this. I want you to name your next step. If I didn't tell you before, I'm a former Division I athlete. I played baseball in college, but in high school, I had a coach named Mr. Matt Foster. And Coach Foster would always say this at the top of his lungs, especially during a moment where somebody messed up. He would always say, next best thing. Okay, write this down. Put it in quotations. Next best thing. Baseball, if you don't know, is an extreme game of failure. You're going to fail way more often than you succeed. And this is the exact same thing in life. You're going to fail way more than you succeed. But what's the next best thing you could do? I want you to name your next step. Now, it's going to be challenging for you to name your next step if you don't know what to do. You won't know what to do if you don't take accountability for what role you played in this mishap. But you also won't know what to do if you don't take time to take inventory over what happened. I know it's really, really easy to brush things under the rug. And I know you're like, man, you just said this. I really don't want you to miss this. Because a lot of times we don't like to take accountability for whatever we could have done or what we should have done better. Don't miss this so that you can name your next step. What should you be doing differently? How can you implement a new system? What could you change? Who could you speak to? What guidance could you get? Do you need to speak to a coach, a mentor, something to that regard? What is the next best thing? In the game of baseball, if you strike out looking, the next best thing is to go and grab your glove and go make a play in the field. You drop a fly ball, you make an error, you make a mistake. The next best thing you can do is don't miss the next one. I want you to be future minded. Don't skip through what you just experienced. Don't just brush it under the rug. Feel it. Take some inventory. Learn the lesson so that you don't have to learn it again. What's your next step? I want you to think about that last moment of failure that you just experienced. Maybe it was a test. Maybe it was something that you were preparing for on the sports field, or maybe you're into the fine arts. Maybe you didn't make the audition, or you didn't audition as well. You didn't get that first chair position in the orchestra. Whatever it is, what's the next best step? Do you know that guy named Michael Jordan? You know, arguably one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Do you know he got cut from his 9th grade basketball team? Did you hear what I said? I said he got cut. They cut Michael Jordan. That is laughable, right? Okay, hopefully you're not that young where you don't know who Michael Jordan is, but that's laughable. That's crazy as it sounds. But Michael Jordan got cut from a basketball team. That's crazy. But you know what? He named his next step. His next step was, I'm going to go get better. I'm going to work on everything that they told me I didn't do well at this tryout. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to sacrifice whatever I need to sacrifice. I'm not going to go to that party because I got something big coming up this weekend. I'm going to miss that opportunity to sacrifice for the future of my career. What's your next step? Well, no. Not what should they have done differently, not how it could have been. No, what's your next step? I want you to name your next step, my friend. After you name your next step, do it. Do whatever you got to do. Make whatever sacrifice you got to make. Go whatever length you got to go. Drive however many miles you got to drive. Do whatever it is that you know you're supposed to do. The next is connect. I want you to connect with someone who can hold you accountable. Maybe this is a mentor. Maybe this is a friend who's maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead of you, an upperclassman. I don't know, whoever it is, a big brother, a father-like figure. Connect with someone that can hold you accountable so that you won't experience what you're currently experiencing. Now, don't resist the accountability. They should be respectful. We've talked about that. But I don't want you to resist the accountability just because you don't like them holding you accountable. You don't like the fact that they're saying, hey, you said you were going to do this and you didn't do it. We need to experience those moments. We need to know what it feels like. They need to be able to ask you at any point in time, hey, how's this going? The last time we talked, you were here. How is that going along now? Like, where are you with that now? I want you to connect with someone who can hold you accountable for the things that you do and for the things that you say. Quick sidebar before I give you the last one. Everyone, especially every young man, in my opinion, needs someone to say yes, sir, to, and someone to say no, sir, to. Every young man needs someone to say yes, ma'am, to, and someone to say no, ma'am, to. You need to be someone who can be held accountable. Because if you can't be held accountable, in my opinion, you can't be trusted. The last thing is this. I want you to expect better. I want you to have an expectation of excellence, even though you seemingly failed. See, failure more than anything is a mindset. It's an identity. This is exactly why I began with saying, even though you fail, you're not a failure. I still want you to have high aspirations, high expectations. I still want you to hold yourself to a high standard because that's who you are. And this is the only way that your dreams will become reality. This is the only way that you'll become who you were born to be. What you expect is what you become. I need you to believe again. I need you to have hope and faith in yourself again. This failure that you've just experienced is one of many. It will not be the last one. So I need you to build that muscle of strength and persevere through this moment and build your expectation up again so that what you are pursuing will eventually become your reality. If you don't have a target, your arrows of ambition will be shot aimlessly. If you aren't determined, if you aren't ready, focused on a specific target, a specific destination, you will be driving aimlessly, looking up every 2 to 3 miles, wondering if you're going the right way. I need you to expect greatness again because that's exactly what's inside of you and nothing less. As I say to you every single week, you have the potential for greatness on the inside of you, but I don't want it to stay inside. I want it to come out, and I'm committed to helping you along the way. Every single step, I want you to tune in for another brand new episode of the Legacy Lab. This is my commitment to you. Have you subscribed? Have you rang the bell? Go ahead and do so now before you go. My name is Jordan Green-Ellis again, your personal mentor. I so thank you for tuning in for another brand new episode of the Legacy Lab. I'm signing out, but you already know. I'll see you soon. Stay legendary.